In a previous episode, we crammed something in this little corner behind me, which was this little shop that the workers can come eat at. But you see, it's not just a shop. No, it's actually our kelp farm, where we harvest all the kelp we're going to need for belts and any other builds in the city. And in this episode, I want to address some bland floors, somewhat out of place plant boxes, empty walls, and the fact that I think this little part of Skyline is still not cluttered enough. So basically, in general, seeing if we can improve the skyline behind us just a little bit more. Hello everybody, my name's Dio and welcome to the Cyber City. For those of you that are new, it's basically a series where I stranded myself in an end dimension with some basic necessities, and we've been generating everything that you see behind us. All the blocks we're going to need to build our take on a Cyber City. So yeah, this is where we are. This is where we've gotten, and I took a little break and I'm back now. I'm back, I'm a little bit recharged, and I'm ready to tackle some of these areas that seriously need some attention. But the first thing I want to do is the planter boxes, because I nearly fell off. Because currently they don't look bad. They really don't look bad in this area, but if we hop on into free cam, you'll notice that they do stand out quite a lot. So I want to change them to be a bit more of a muted colors, so I'm thinking grays and stuff like that. And the reason for that being, I would rather have that be more toned down with green bushes and stuff, and bring in the color in the buildings in the background. So that will be the first thing we tackle today. So we've got some blocks in our hotbar, but the first thing we need to do is just rip out all of these, because like mentioned, I want to get away from the wood texture and go for something a little more muted, I would say. A little more grayish, because why not? And the blocks I chose for that, well, I thought we could do maybe basins on the end like so, and just cauldrons in the center. So it's a very bland color, I guess, but at least it breaks it up and forces to focus more on the back of the buildings and not really on these little planter boxes, because I do want them to decorate the city, but I don't want them to take away from the overall view. So what I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to plonk down a few more. We're going to fly to our trusty little vantage point over there, and then we'll have a look at what it looks like. So we've done the entire line, and I do think it looks really cool. My only concern or problem was this little edge, because all of them worked out perfectly fine with a 3 gap. Then we've got the planter box, a 3 gap, planter box, 3 gap. But then over here we've had a 3 gap, and then we had 2 more gaps, and then only the area where we go and place our little anvil to connect it all. So currently this is not ending well. But I don't know if it's going to bother. So what we do have to do, however, is just fly out to this little viewing island, which I guess we've got friends on. I really need to put a monster torch on here. But yeah, I like that a lot, because not only do you still see the green, but you also see the planter boxes, but it doesn't take away from what's happening in the background, which I do believe is the more important thing in this area. So I'm pretty happy about that. So the next thing on our little to-do list is, well, it's basically the floor, because the floor looks fine. I mean, it's textured, it's nice, it's clean, and that's the problem. It's clean. I do think a floor like this needs to be a little bit dirtier, look a bit more walked on, and we need some darker patches in areas where dirt will accumulate. And to do that, we're going to add a bunch of dirtier versions of the current textures that we're already using on this floor. I also don't think we're going to do the entire floor, so what I want to do is start maybe in this area, and we're just going to start by taking out some of the blocks in certain areas. Just making sure we're not removing any of the trimmed blocks, because we do have hidden trimmed lines all over this area. So We're going to dig up a bunch of this, and then we'll go in and place some of our darker blocks just to see if we can make this floor look, like mentioned, a little bit more walked on and less clean and tidy. Also, again, areas like this we'll go for the lighter of the darker blocks, and areas underneath like here we'll go for the darker version of the blocks. So with that said, maybe we can do like, yeah, the deep slate one's the darker one, I do believe, and the basalt's just a little bit lighter. So we'll just do something like this and just go around, add some of these blocks in there, and just make sure it looks, like mentioned, a little bit more walked on. I do want to make sure, yeah, we've got 3 of those and only 2 of those. That's right. So for example over here, we'll rather maybe go for lighter blocks, oops, instead of doing the darker ones, and we're keeping the darker ones more in the shadowy areas, like so. And when we can just bring those in just to show that we're coming out with a lighter color, which I don't mind. And it doesn't need to be perfect. We can do some dark ones in this area as well, and just generally break it up as we go. But while we place these blocks, I do want to take some time just to talk about the fact that I disappeared for quite a while. Yeah, I put out a public post saying that I'm going to take a little break and I'll be back in a week. And I ended up being away for, I think it was 2 weeks, maybe. Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks roughly. And I needed it. I'm going to be totally honest. I needed to just break away and just relax a bit, just recover and find my perspective in regards to what I want from my channel, because I know that I might have lost a little bit of perspective over the past few months. Yeah, let's say months. Why is that word hard? But anyway, because I try to do so much and I'm not planning on slowing down with the channel. I just think I'm going to be more selective to what I post and when I post. So I might not always keep to a fixed schedule with everything. I'm going to try and keep a fixed schedule when it comes to the in-city. But for other things, I think I'm just going to take a lot more relaxed approach, because I don't need burnout. I don't need burnout, and I need to enjoy this, because that's why I got into this. I got into this so I can create, so I can share, so I can just have fun and build a little community where we can discuss builds and what not all. So yeah, I firstly just want to apologize for taking off longer. Not for the fact that I did take off, because I needed it just to produce better content for you lot in the long run. So I'm glad. I'm happy to be back, and I hope you guys are happy as well, because I'm excited. I'm excited for where the city is going and for everything else to come. And just like that, we've created quite a lot of changes in regards to the flooring. We've managed to do it all the way to the end over there. We did little nooks and crannies like this. We did this little area. And then we also went ahead and continued around here. And if we run through to the back over here, we added some more in this area. And then again, we continued and did this little area, which again, this just breaks up the floor a little bit. And by no means is this done at all. I would still like to come around, add a bunch more clutter and contraptions and whatnot all in the alleyways and in the floor, just to give it a bit more life, because this is looking good already. But I do think we can have some items in this general area. But for now, I do think that we're done for the floor. I'm done doing a bit of texturing. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough for me to say enough. So what I want to do now is I quickly want to just hop on to the creative world and grab a schematic for a little decoration we've got going in this area, and for the power lines that I do want to add in this little area. So the next thing you will see is not me gathering the resources or making the blueprint, but instead a little build montage. And don't blink, because it's going to go really, really quick. And in the blink of an eye, we have ourselves a power line, and it's subtle. It's really, really subtle, but you can see how it breaks up the skyline, and we added some height in that area, sending the power into the back of the city. And then also we've got something over there that we can go check out, and that's just basically where we pretend to take it from the mill, the wind generator, the turbine itself. So we've got this little structure, the lines coming out, we've got it running all the way to the end over there, and we've got ourselves some warning electricity signs at the bottom, decals at the bottom, and it's not Create 6. I mean, if we had Create 6, we could have made these move, but I'm all good. I'm still loving this whole area, and all of this just seems a little bit more lived in. We also have this little area over here where we just connect to one of the buildings, just showing we've got power running into buildings. And then this one goes all the way up, and over there we've got it anchored to the wall again. But if we quickly run on up these stairs, you can see we've got the power coming from there, running into this area, and we've got a pole anchored right over here. And from here, I haven't thought about how we're going to distribute it to all the other points, or how we're going to get it flowing through the city, but I was thinking we need to have it go from here to, say, that area, to this area, to wherever. But in general, I really think it's such a small little thing, and it looks so cool. Just walking around here and seeing all of these little things come together, and we will add a bunch more clutter to this area. Well, we have two more things that I want to do in the city before we end this episode, and the second one, or the one we're going to do last, well, that will be the building right here behind us, which will be in the form of another time lapse. But the one I want to tackle first is right over here. You see, whenever we update the population counter, I open this thing, I chuck a bunch of items into that backpack over there, and from that backpack, it filters down into the system and it updates the population count down there. And I want to change that. So what I was thinking is we can maybe utilize this area and do like a stack of barrels and chests and whatever in this area, and we can just pop it into the top barrel and it will automatically feed into the system over here. So I need to figure that out real quickly. So I'm gonna grab a few things, see if I can connect a few things, and then we can test it out by actually updating the population counter. We had an incident. A singular piece of blackstone fell into the system and it ticked one new citizen. But I'm not too worried because we're anyway going to update the citizen counter now. I just need to remember to throw in one less item to make sure we end up on the correct citizen count. And this is how it's going to work. We're going to make use of this barrel. See, over here I've hidden away the smart chute that takes diamonds. So if you put the diamonds into this little barrel over here, it will filter through the system, which we can see in free cam, which is basically just a bunch of chutes going at an angle, stopping there, going at an angle again, and then getting put onto this belt, which will be taken up by this chute funnel. We just need to fix that, and that again will tick up the citizen. So I think we need to do that. It won't tick up the citizen, it will tick up the citizen counter. Sorry, words. So yeah, let's do that. Let's count the new citizens. We currently have 10,580 citizens in the city. And that means we went up with a full stack of citizens. A total of 64 new people live in the city. If you want to become part of the citizen counter, then do smash that subscribe button and help us gain our next big goal. And there we have it, 10,580 citizens. The population count has been updated, and while that ticked away and sometime after that, I went ahead and gathered up a bunch more resources for this blank wall, because I think it's time we do our official long time montage and build something in this area. So grab yourself a snack, a drink, sit back and relax as we build something against this bland wall. And just look at our brand new skyline. The changes we made were really subtle and small, but they do contribute to the overall look and feel. We've got the little power lines, we've got the little container housing on the side, and, well, the planter boxes. You can't really see the floor, can you? Yeah, you can a little bit. But in general, I do think we made changes for the better. Now, if we fly on over, let's land on this far side so we can see what it all looks like together. As we run down here, just look at that. This is something so simple, and it's also the first time I'm building power lines, but I do think it looks really cool. Running past, and as we head on over here and we look up, we see all these container houses. We had added that little detail, and this is just really, really cool looking. And this is what I like about the style, is that if we stand down here, we only see this, but there's so much more to this build style. But now also, if we go on up and we take the elevator, let's just scroll it down real quick. And we go up to the lower bridge. We have this little door over here, and this door exits out on, what was that? Onto this level, which is just above the red container. We can go into this container, which looks out on the city from this side. And then we've got a little ladder going down, which leads into this container, which again, I might close it up between these two containers, but not too worried. And this one that goes up leads to this container, which again has a view from there, which I do think worked out pretty cool. But then also we can go up one more level to right over here. And if we head on through this door, which is this alleyway, we still have this opening, but I did add this little wood walkway that goes up all the way to here. And this gives us a view from the very top of the container housing. So I do think we should maybe pop on into free cam just to see what it looks like. And yeah, that's looking pretty cool. I like this little detail I did over here as support. But that just helps a dead wall like that come together really, really nicely. And I mean, again, the power lines. So I think that these additions, well, they were quite successful. So I'm pretty happy about all of this. But with all that said, that sadly brings us to the end of this episode. I know it wasn't a lot of create buildings and contraptions and stuff like that, but it was an easy and steady way to get back into the recording of things, and we did so much that complements the skyline in general. So down in the comments, let me know, what do you think of the new additions to the city? And also remember to smash that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet, and hit the like button, as it really helps me out a lot. Till next time, bye bye for now.